Good morning, everybody. Before we get started, just two short items. One, I want to recognize a couple of officials. Jack Heyman, former county councilman and Edgewater mayor, and Jack Grasky, city commissioner for Newsom Beach. And the second item is we're dedicating this debate today to Peter Mallory, the co-founder, really gentle giant. Thank you. Welcome, gentlemen. I'm going to start off with having you each introduce yourselves to the public. Try to keep it to 1 or 2 minutes. Go ahead, Ed. Start with you.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Ed Badeau Jr., 38 years old, lived here my entire life. Was a graduate of high school here. Parents were graduates of high school here. Commercial fish for a living. It's been a pleasure to live in this town, to be a part of this town. My father was a fireman in this town. Go back, my grandmother was a nurse in this town way back in the day. It's exciting to be a part of this. It's a new beginning. It's a new future. There's a lot of things happening that I look forward to be a part of. It's great to have other candidates as well. It's great to have Headline Surfer to put something on like this. It's pretty much about what's best for the city, what's best for our youth, what's best for our retirees, what's best for the community. And that's why I'm doing this. I'm looking forward to being a part of this. I've met a lot of great people in this process. And other than that, that's it. I look forward to answering your questions and being a part of this city in a more defined prospect.
Thank you, Ed. Before the other two gentlemen get going here, Ed was very eloquent, but we want to save some of the details for the actual debate. Okay. So just basically introducing yourself to the public.
Steve Casserly, 47 years old. Lived in Volusia County, Florida, actually for about 10 years now. New Smyrna Beach for 3.5. Previously from Chicago. Lived in New York for a little time. Wyoming as well, small town. Business background for the most part. Been married for 18 years to Karen Mel.
Mr. Bounds.
Good morning. My name is Kirk Jones. I'm running for the City Commission in Zone 4, as you know. I was born and raised here. I'm 55 years old. I've worked 39 years with the City of New Smyrna, 35 which was with the fire department. And I have been blessed to be able to be a part of this community. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here, and taking an active role in what our community is doing. And thank you.
All right, I'm going to try to keep this free flowing when we're not down to the second, if we can avoid speeches and just stick to the question at hand. I'll start off with you, Mr. Badeau. What are your ideas for economic development, and in that regard, what are some that are actually realistic, for maybe small steps to lead to something bigger?
Well, I think first and foremost, economic development is very, very vital to the success of this town. We have some industrial parks that need to be developed. I believe with the help of different agencies within the city and the county, we might be able to bring in larger manufacturing industry into this town, utilizing our parks that we have that are vacant, utilizing some of our waterfront property, some of our parks, maybe put some things together that allow the economic growth into this town. We have historical value in this town. We have industrial parks, we have waterfront, we have the beach. How we put those all together, that's where we sit down as a group and decide what's best.
Mr. Casserly, we've talked before in the story, and you said basically you want to try to preserve the charm of a small town that's a beach town, and where people know each other, and it's sort of, it's a gentle place. And in the meantime, at the same time, you want to generate some industry, or at least some kind of presence. How do you have it both ways?
Well, I mean, what you want to do is first of all, for economic development, I'd like to touch on annexation, which provides revenue growth. I want tourism We need to promote tourism, because those are the people that are going to be coming here, spending money in our town, and also they're the ones that are going to be living in our town later, bringing their families and opening businesses as well. As far as the concert, or the what we have that makes us stand out, our character, I'd like to protect and enhance what we do have, which is the beaches. Community spirit is amazing in this town, and that's part of what compelled me to run as well, to be a part of that. And also the arts community, something that I think might be just a little bit overlooked, but nationally and internationally recognized, and something we can promote as well. So the things that we have, we can enhance, and then economic development, we can take steps to make that even better.
And if I could follow up with you before I get to Mr. Jones, since you're a member of the planning board, you have the experience of, you're sitting in a board where there's not a lot of interest in the public. It's kind of, tedious, and there's a lot of blueprints and graphics and things like that. How do you speed up the process in a community where the hotel's taking forever, but it's finally happening? There's different talks about things about what to put on the North Causeway and some other areas. How do you speed up that red tape?
Well, as a individual, as a member of the planning and zoning board, we can find out what benefits New Smyrna Beach, what is going to bring jobs into the community, what is going to be beneficial for the people, and vote accordingly that way. Going for a little bit further into business development or economic development, we could also have incentives for business and cut regulation a little bit, which would enhance that as well.
How would you cut that regulation? What would you do? Would you waive fees? Would you?
I think, there's a few different things you could do. You could either lower fees, you could waive fees, perhaps make it a little bit easier to start a business, or even do a little build out of a business. Some of those things I'll have to, evaluate when I get in there.
There's been a lot of talk about signage, and there's too much, there's not enough. In a small town like this, you want to preserve the charm. How do you weigh that balance as well?
Well, you want to promote business, obviously. You want to let them promote themselves also. But you don't want to make it look, you don't want to be, it shouldn't be ugly. It shouldn't be a blight, in other words. And there's a fine line between that, and we just have to take a look at it on an individual basis to see, what we can do.
Mr. Jones, I'm sure a lot of people know, or they'll know now, you were a veteran firefighter for the city many years, and a former Edgewater councilman. What did you learn from those two distinct areas, being a firefighter that was in a union, blue collar, going out there and helping people, risking, the tough stuff that has to be done, and also the politics of being on a city council in a smaller community in Edgewater?
Good question. Actually, being involved with my Firefighters Association, we had a theme, progress through political involvement, being able to be a part of your community and doing the things that you felt would be a benefit. And so being that, I was involved in the community that I was living in at the time, was Edgewater, and watching the things that they were doing, I wanted to be a part of it, and I felt strong about it, and so I was able to run and serve two consecutive terms in Edgewater, and also I was vice mayor. And being able to see that side of it was a great benefit. Not only was it a benefit for me as well as for the Firefighters Association, because when you're on that side, you really don't see about the budgeting and where the money comes from, and money doesn't grow on trees, and we have to be able to take this pie and be able to work together and make both sides understand that we can be part of the solution. And when they seen me coming back from that experience, I was able to share a lot of wisdom in that area for that side. And now they know that, I would encourage anyone, please go and run and experience that. It's a wealth of, actually I call it, you can't learn it in a textbook, you can't go to college and get it. This is an awesome course, and you definitely, if you take it all in, you can definitely share it and hopefully be a benefit to your community. And that's what I'm here for. I think all things are possible if we all just work together, and that's how I feel.